This week on Dishes with Del, we are making Birria Tacos. Now, you may be thinking, hey Del, this looks a bit messy. What's happened here? So I got so excited, even though I have a checklist of what not to do and what to do, I got so excited about eating them that I ate half before I recorded this intro. What an idiot. Anyway, this is Birria Tacos, and this is how you make them. You are gonna wanna stick around to the end because making these will literally change the game. They are so freaking delicious. And I'm looking at it right now and it's looking at me and it's saying, hey Del, eat it. Anyway, I'm gonna eat a little bit more. Why don't you learn how to make them? Step-by-step guide. Honestly, just watch the video. Hello. Here we are, step-by-step tutorial as per usual. One thing and we're gonna do it well. I say it every time, mise en place. You prep, get it ready. Very important, makes it quick. Not many items, very simple. And what's great, you can probably get it on in about 10 minutes. It really takes no time at all. And you don't need anything particularly fancy. This might not be the most authentic because I can't actually get hold of the chilies that I would love to use. So I've actually got some chipotle peppers in the adobo sauce. So this is what I'm gonna use as the base. And I do actually have one Kashmiri chicken. I do actually have one Kashmiri chili, this guy here, so I thought I could put him in. And I do have a little bit of fresh. So, you know, this is a little bit spicy. You can make this to the spice level which you like. You know, these are quite mild and very smoky. The Kashmiri chili is a little bit spicy and fresh. You know, if you have bird's eye, of course they're gonna be boiling and hot. That's kind of not what this dish is massively about. It's about, you know, heat and warmth and smokiness. And then, you know, I've got some cinnamon and some cloves, and we're just gonna tie them up in a little bit of muslin and put them in so that they can infuse, but they're not kind of like really deep in there. And then some cumin. Lovely warm spices. So this should be a little bit spicy, but kind of really rich and unctuous. So I've got some tomatoes here. I've got some onion. Also, sorry, I think I have a little bit of a cold coming. Temperature's really changed here, and I woke up this morning a little bit sniffly, so I apologise if I cough or if I sneeze, because that's happened quite a few times this morning. So apologies if I do it. I've got some onion, I've got some carrot, and I've got all the coriander stalks. You know, you can just put them in whole because we are going to blend this at the end to make a nice, like, thick sauce. If you didn't have fresh tomatoes, a can of tomatoes, you probably wouldn't even need all of it. I'm also not sure if they are truly authentic to go in there, but you know, I had some to use up. Don't go and buy them if you don't need them. You know, if you had a can of tomatoes, put some in. But also, if not, really doesn't matter. You can read lots of recipes online. They all vary slightly, and this is just my interpretation of it. And then here I've got some beef short rib. So that was what I could find in the supermarket. You could use some like flank, or you know, anything that's like kind of a bit tough. Even like maybe like a brisket. You're just gonna have to cook it for a bit longer. This is it. All we have to do is give these a really hard sear. We're gonna season these with salt and pepper, and then all of this will get seared off. The chili, I'm just gonna rehydrate in some boiling water, and then I will take out the seeds, cut it open, take out the seeds, and obviously the stock cube. If you had some chicken stock, wonderful. If you had some veggie stock, great. If you had some beef stock, wonderful, use that. Use kind of whatever you have, but I understand that most people don't have that knocking about, and so a stock cube is great. But obviously, you know, I actually use the ones with reduced salt because otherwise it can be a bit salty. But a stock cube made into the liquid, and we'll just take out some of these. Probably won't use them all. We'll use some of the chili, some of the sauce, and we're just gonna cook it all, and it's gonna go, in your case, probably into the oven. I'm gonna use a pressure cooker because I have one, and it means that it's very fast and efficient, so I can kind of get this made and done in about 45 minutes. If you're cooking it in the oven, realistically, it's going to take 3 to 4 hours. We want this beef to be falling off the bone, we want it to be nice and tender, being able to pull it apart. At whatever point that is in your home, in your oven, that's when you want to do it. You can also do it on the stove, but you just got to pay a lot more attention to it on the stove. So I would recommend that you do put it in the oven, much better. And then what's really great about that is that you can literally get all this stuff done in the morning, pop it in the oven, leave it in there for as long as you like, and then you can have it ready for dinner. And yeah, that's it. So very quick, very fast. So we'll just get the last few bits done. I'll take these out and show you what they look like. We'll get this guy rehydrated, and these I'm going to wrap up in a little bit of cloth so that we can put them into the base when we make it. And that's it. So let's get to it. So this here is the rehydrated chili, and as you can see, some of the seeds have come out in the juice, but we're just going to pop it open, and we'll probably just get rid of the last of them seeds and put them to one side because they're going to be pretty spicy, and there will be some seeds in the chili that's in the can. So yeah, we'll just scrape that out, and then that chili is ready to go. And what you can even do is use this chili water, if you wanted to, as some of your stock base. So I could add some of my stock in there and then use that as the water, which is a great way to reuse some of that chili flavour. Everything's ready. So the tomatoes, again, haven't really chopped them up that small, don't need to. They're going to cook for quite a long time. They're going to get blended in the end anyway, so it's just about chopping them up slightly so they're not huge. This is the chili in the sauce, so I've got 1, 2, 3 and a little bit chilies. Now they do have their seeds in, so that's going to be quite spicy, but remember it is going to all be diluted by this stuff. This is the de-seeded chili that I rehydrated, and then I've got some stock here. I've got about 500 mils. We may need a little bit more. We just kind of want to cover these once they're in the pot. I've got my little bit of cinnamon and cloves all tied up in there, and then the cumin for when we go. And I've seasoned the beef. You might be wondering why it's sat on a rack. I quite like to buy my meat, and because it comes in the plastic bags, I like to take it out of that overnight if I can, pop it in the fridge, and it like dries out. You can see that it's much drier, or I might put a little bit of salt and pepper here. We can use the bit that's in the bottom, but it's much drier than when you take it out of the bag, which means you're just going to get a bit of sear on it. So it'll just be really nice and like brown and caramelized on the edges, because if it's a bit wet, you just kind of can't get it. Anyway, that's all of it. So let's get to the stove and get this guy seared off and in. So to sear off the beef, we just want to get a pan on, bit of oil, not a lot because obviously there's a bit of fat on the beef anyway. We're going to get it really nice and hot, and we're going to sear off this beef. If you was cooking this and you were going to be putting it in the oven, obviously you're not going to be putting it in the oven in this, you'll be putting it in the oven in maybe a cast iron pot or something more like that. But what is quite good is if you don't want to necessarily cook all the things in that, to sear them off in another pan and then add them to that pot. So we can see that it's nice and hot, and we're just going to sear off this beef. And we just want to get a good amount of colour on each edge. And just pick up all the last bit of salt and pepper there from the tray. And that's then seared off, nice and golden brown, into the pan, and then in with the veg. Turn the heat down a bit and pop it all in. And with the veg, you just want to make sure that you get it softened up. It takes on all the beef fat that was left in the pan, because the grease is the one thing that makes this dish delicious, and you need it to dip the tacos in. And you just want to get them all coated in all that yummy stuff. Then we're going to add the tomatoes, season with cumin, and add the other stuff. Put it all in the pan, and that's it. We're done. While this is all cooking, I'm going to add about 1.5 tablespoons of cumin, and we want to sweat that all off as well in the fat so that it all gets cooked out, and then we're just going to add the tomatoes. And also, you know, it's important that you spread it all over the place. For God's sake, Adele. And what's great about when you then add the tomatoes is they will create a little bit of their own juice. So it's gonna get all the remnants off of the pan, and we're gonna be able to get it all picked up into all that veg and then add it. Okay, so that's everything seared off. In here, we have the beef, browned, delicious. Here, all the veg, all sweated off. Like I said, tomatoes have just started to break down. Wonderful. We've got stock, and then we've got the chilies in the sauce and this little bundle of joy. So all we're gonna do, because I'm doing it in that guy over there, Mr. Slow Cooker, crock pot extraordinaire, I love that thing, along with my air fryer. That guy is number 2. He cooks stuff so fast. And I will probably use this more often, especially coming into winter. It's lovely to have something that's fast and efficient. And you can just make the most incredible stuff in it. Anyway, I digress. Back to this. So, like I said, I'm doing it in the crock pot. So a little different. But I've got all my veg in here. As you can see, there's all this yummy stuff, so we don't want to lose any of that. I'm going to pour the stock in here. Give it a little swizzle round. Get out my other trusty number 1 utensil, the spatula. Then we can scrape all the edge off. If you don't have one of these guys, honestly buy them. They just blow me away. They're so good at just scraping off the edges, and just such a handy tool. Anyway, we'll use him to get all of the flavour off the bottom. We'll put all this guy in. This is gonna be yum. A little bit spicy, a little bit hot, smoky. Yeah, it's gonna be banging. And then the rest of that stock. There's actually a little bit in here, so I'm just gonna add a touch more. So maybe I would have had maybe more like 700 mils, and you can actually see that in here, quite hard to tell, 1 second. Let me see if I can get this guy. But as you can see, the meat is not quite covered, so I am going to add that extra 200 mils of juice, and we'll see where it is then. And as you can see, the meat is now covered. That's what you want, especially if you're baking it in the oven. You know, you want to be able to know that you've got enough liquid in there and that it's not going to boil dry. Anyway, the only other thing is the cinnamon and the cloves. And in it goes. So I'm going to put this in the pressure cooker. If you weren't using a pressure cooker, like I said, probably something like this. You want something that's, some baking paper in here from when I last made a sourdough. Thanks. Nothing like reusing, you know, you don't have to get rid of it. You can just use it again. Yeah, something like this that can go into the oven, no plastic, you know, easy, and you can add to the oven. And if you didn't have anything that you can put in the oven, well then that's when you can do it on the stove. Just sit it on the stove, lid on, you know, maybe a little bit like this. There's a little bit coming out, but not too much, just at the beginning. And then, lid on, check it every 25, 30 minutes, give it a little stir, make sure it's not sticking. And again, it'll probably take 3.5 hours, something like that, to cook. So yeah, that's it. This guy's gonna go in. Maybe we'll go for an hour. Better safe than sorry. That's it, start. Heating, see you later mate. Have a good one. Can't wait to eat ya. So while the beef is on cooking and nearly coming towards the end, we just want to get our last few items ready to go. I'm going to use some white tortillas. You know, obviously these are tacos. Ideally, if you had masa and could make a taco, amazing. But corn tacos are very expensive in the supermarket, so this is a really good kind of alternative that is still absolutely delicious and super yum, and they still go crisp and they're still delicious. So don't think that you always have to use the actual ingredient that a recipe says. I've got some grated mozzarella. You kind of want about 10 to 20 grams per taco, I would say. You know, if you can go for a little bit more, around the 20 gram mark, great, because they'll be super gooey and delicious. And then we just need some super fine diced white onion, a little bit of coriander to garnish, and a lime. And that's it. It's all you need for this. So make sure you've got all these items ready together. And then we just got to wait for the beef. And then we're just going to separate it up, pull it apart, blend the sauce, and heat these things up, and they're going to be friggin' banging. I also want to take this moment just to say thanks so much for everyone who has recently subscribed. I really appreciate you. Without you guys, this would be kind of pointless, you know? I'd just be talking to the camera. No, but I do. I truly appreciate every single one of you. I love hearing from you. I love that, you know, everyone's learning new things. That's what this place is all about. Here at Dishes with Del, I want to teach you all just great things that you can make at home that are simple, that are delicious, often with not that many ingredients. Yeah, so I just want to say big thanks to all of you out there. Yeah. All right, so beef is done. Let's have a look, shall we? Oh my God, it just rips apart into, oh, just deliciousness. Give it a little taste, see how it's doing now. It's delicious. Now you will have noticed that we didn't season it when we put all the juice in there, and that's because when you're making something, you don't always want to season it at the beginning if you're going to be reducing the flavors, because it could get really salty, and we don't want that. I'm also just going to take out the little bag of the cinnamon because we don't want to blitz that. We're also going to double check there's no bones knocking about, like this guy. Oh, and there's another bone. That's how good pressure cookers are. They just, you know, that's it. Clean off, out it comes. Amazing. So what we're going to do, we're going to break this up and we're going to blend this, and then we've just got to get it together for the last bit. I mean, to be fair, these actually, you know, they probably could have had an hour and a half, because then they would have been even more incredibly tender. I mean, they're already friggin' amazing. Oh my God, just so yum. So just like that, delicious. The sauce. I don't have a large blender. Also, hence why I've put the apron on, because this is red grease. Red grease is delicious, but it goes everywhere. And I do not want to blend it in this because this is non-stick. So I'm going to transfer it into here. And then this is where we're going to blend all of them items, the whole lot, the whole shebang. That's it. Then that's the sauce done. So we'll get the stick blender and we'll give it a blend. Just be careful. Oh, see, like that. Gently, gently. Oh God, it went everywhere. That's better. Clean bench, clear mind. So we need to give it a little taste. Oh my God. It's yum. I mean, it's a little bit spicy, but that's what we want. But it's just got these incredible notes in the background where it's smoky and warm, and all them flavors from the cinnamon and the cloves and then them chipotle chilies. This is so good. Now, the only other thing that we want to check is the consistency. So I would say that this is probably a little bit thin. So what we're going to do, just going to pop it on the stove and reduce it a little bit. So we just get it a little bit thicker. But what would be great is you could keep this like this, and you could use this as now because obviously you can see there's a lot of sauce here. It makes a lot of sauce, but you need a lot of liquid to be able to cover all the stuff in it. So what you're going to do is maybe keep half of this, pop it in the freezer. You're going to use it again later. You're going to use it for like a chili, you know? I mean, this is like packed full of flavour, but you know, you could just make it into a bean chili and have it like that, because honestly, this stuff is next level. You don't want to be getting rid of it. You don't want to be throwing it away. You want to make sure that you're keeping it. So, oh, so good. I do think though, that it does need a tiny wee bit of salt. Surprise, surprise. Only a little bit, but just a bit, because there's just a little bit where it's not, the flavour's not complete. So just a tiny wee bit of salt. So then we're just going to reduce, but I'm not going to reduce all of it. I'm just going to take a small portion out that we need to fill this beef out. So the rest of it can then just go away into the fridge or into the freezer. Make sure you label it, make sure you put a date on it so you know what it is, because there's always stuff lurking around in the freezer that you have no idea what it is because you put it in there God knows how long ago without a label on it. So make sure you put a label on it and put it in the freezer. Keep it for later. I'm going to reduce this and we'll come back to it in a minute. Okay, so we've got a bit of the reduced sauce. Now you don't want too much, you just want a little bit to coat it all, because you just want them to be, oh, I've got a load on my arm. Because you just want them to be coated in it, but you don't want it to be wet, because otherwise it's just going to ooze all out of the taco. And you got to remember, we're going to have a little bit on the side anyway. And then, because it's me and I forgot, what we should have done is when we had the beef in here, is skimmed off the fat, because the fat is what we need to dip these guys in to fry. So, stupid me, I've only got a little bit left, but what I'm going to do is put them in there anyway. I'm just going to scoop up that bit on the side. We're going to dunk this guy in so you get something like this. You know, we all make mistakes, right? Sometimes you're not going to get everything perfect. I don't know what I was thinking, but evidently I wasn't. So I'm just going to coat the shells like this, and then it's quite good because we can sit them on top of one another there. Also quite handy that the tortilla shell fits in here absolutely perfectly. So we'll wipe off all that grease, and that is going to be what we fry in. So, you know, in an ideal world, you would have had a little bit more and they would have had a bit more on, but that's okay. Them guys can sit like that. And now we just need to fry it and put it together. So let's get to it. So you want to get your pan medium hot. We're going to put the greased side down in the pan. We're going to put some of the beef on one side and some of the cheese on the other, and we're going to fry it off and cook it. And it's going to be delicious. So you want to make sure that your pan's getting warm. That's going to go that side down. I can hear it already sizzling. We're going to put some of the mozzarella, like I said, probably about 20 grams per taco, like that. And then just a little layer of this lovely beef. And pop it in just like that. And then in a few minutes, we're going to fold it over. And that is literally it. Done. Completed. Absolutely winning for such a small item. You just want to be careful, obviously. I'm using white flour shells. And even if you was doing it with taco, that they don't get too crispy when you try to turn them, because otherwise they will break. So you want something like that. And push that to one side. I'm going to pop my other one in. As you can hear, pan nice and hot now. The cheese. And also, can you see how much I put in that other one? If you put any more, it's going to be going all over the place. We got the beef. Here goes in. This one, I'll give a little turn over. Oh my God, yes. Yes, look at this, amazing. That's what you're looking for. So again, we're going to fold it up because we don't want it to get so hard that we can't turn it. Oh my God, I literally cannot wait to eat these. Surprise, surprise, this is Del we're talking about, so, you know. All right, that one can come out, he's done. We're gonna move him over. We'll put the last one in. I love this because it's actually super fast and real quick. Once you've got all your bits together. That's why mise en place is so important. You can have that last minute or two. Ooh-wee. Oh, yes. We've got a little bit of sauce here. You just add some chopped onions, which you already have ready. A little bit of coriander and just a little quarter of lime. And that's it. Birria tacos. For very minimal prep, you get this absolutely insane meal. You can use the leftovers for all sorts of things. You can make more of these, you can make sandwiches, you can do whatever you want. You can use the sauce to make soups. I mean, it's so versatile and so delicious. And you know, a real like yum special little treat that, yeah, it doesn't take too much. You don't have to use the most expensive cut of beef. Just so long as you cook it for a really long time, it will fall apart. Like, that is the absolute joy of this. So let's get into it. Oh, I mean, look at this guy. Oh, let's give it a little squeeze of lime. Fuck yeah. Oh yeah, this just looks great. And then in here, into the sauce. Oh my God. That is so naughty. Wow. I mean, I love making food and I love eating food, but you know what? Every now and again you just make something and you're like, that is delicious. The freshness of the coriander and the onion in the soup or sauce is so important too, because it adds like a little bit of freshness. The lime, oh my God, I mean, the lime obviously just cuts through the fat and the cheese and the goo, but it's delicious. And then that that beef is just, oh my God, that beef is just so full of flavour. Oh my God, I could eat this all day. Like, literally. Literally. Like, I mean, you have to try these. You have to try these because they are insane. Anyway, I'm gonna go demolish the rest of these for my lunch. And I will see you next week. Please give these a go. Let me know how they turn out. Let me know whether you liked it or not. And just like, get this in your life. It's great. All right. I'll see you later. Have a good week, guys. Ciao.